Drew, in your opinion, what diversity initiatives would you like to see implemented at Texas A&M?
Well, I think the most effective way is to try and realize that Texas A&M University, it's not about the six of us up here. It's not about any of us in this room. It's about just under 45,000 students and a community that makes up this university. And so what can we do to reach out from our comfort zone to get to know as many of these Aggies as we can, as many members of the Aggie family as possible. So with that, I want to be sure that SGA creates an environment that's conducive for these relationships to form, these personal relationships to form between groups. I want to see co-programming done between not only SGA organizations, but SGA, but non-SGA organizations as well, and co-programming two totally opposite organizations, two totally different organizations, programming for the common good and programming to get to know each other. And lastly, realize that diversity is the rhetoric of diversity is often frustrating in that it's about everyone and diversity of idea.
Well, to answer this question, I'd like to first say that diversity means something different to everybody. And so before I answer, I would like to define it as unity. Diversity is unity in a sense that we need to lay a framework of communication. We need to get to know each other through our similarities, and then we can move forward and grow through our differences. And I think that's crucial to having a successful diversity plan. In my meeting with the International Student Association Executive Council a few days ago, I was told that that a lot of international students truly do not feel a part of campus, and this is something that was said verbatim. And so I feel like it's my job as student body president to create an SGA diversity plan, to follow the lead of the MSC and what they did with their diversity plan, and create an SGA version of that, where we can write initiatives and how we plan to incorporate international groups into what we're doing in SGA. And I think it would benefit everybody through various cultural experiences.
Yeah, when we talk about diversity, it's important to talk about not only tolerating these differences of perspectives and opinions, but that we move from tolerating to embracing them. And something I want to do is to implement leadership training for student leaders to learn, to help facilitate this process from toleration to embracing, excuse me. The Diversity Commission has done a lot of good things this past year. VP Gutierrez has done a lot of good work with implementing the Aggie Union initiative, and I want to continue that initiative through the next year if elected as student body president. Another thing that Drew Barber hit on that I also have a strong commitment to is co-programming opportunities and keeping an open dialogue between different entities on campus that may not see eye to eye on things, but that can also come together to create a program to show both sides to enlighten the student body. Thank you.
Well, we feel that we have represented the most diverse campaign in this race with over 100 student organizations represented from all over campus. I think that when it comes to diversity on campus, we need to understand that diversity does not need to be forced. It can't be forced. However, it does need to be facilitated and encouraged. And I think there are two different ways that we can do that. As Sam was saying, the Aggie Union, two people who are on my campaign team, originated the Aggie Union. And we've been working with, they've been working with Jeff Pickering, our student body president, on this. And this is basically organizations would just meet basic qualifications and get to be a part of the Aggie Union. They'd come together, they would have socials together, so you're bumping shoulders with people from all over campus and say, hey, we went to high school together. We're not that different. We were at the basketball game together the other night. And then through competition. Competition is always fun. And have organizations compete through community service and school spirit. Also through an on-campus joint service project where we would get together and power wash the sidewalks or paint blocker or tear down blocker and beautify campus together. It improves unity, diversity, and beautifies campus.
No, I'm fixing to sound like a sap when I say this, but I've been told that you like a person for their gifts, but love them for their faults and differences. And with the number of differences we have here at Texas A&M, I think that's what makes us beautiful. We have so much diversity and difference of opinion that it really is a beautiful thing. It's like a mural of a thousand photos, and we get to see it as a student body president. We would get to see that every single day. For me, I think that the best way to approach diversity is through service. For example, right now I am working with the big event, Aggie Relay for Life and Phi Beta Sigma Honor Society to put on a benefit concert after the big event that morning in order to raise funds for the American Cancer Society. In other words, it would be preserving the community by day and saving lives by night. And that's from 3 different organizations that are not even affiliated with one another, that have different mission statements, but can come together for one cause. And that is the same that can be said for so many organizations across campus. And as student body president, I think we can narrow that lens and help connect students better in a way that we can serve so many more.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that is very important is that mantra that we live by, that we are the Aggies and the Aggies are we. I think that something that's really cool is that whenever I grew up in Honduras, I learned how to play marbles whenever I was 8 years old. I came to Texas A&M and I had a friend who was from China, and then we started talking, and he also learned how to play marbles whenever he was that age. So I think that diversity is many times seen as a wall that separates us, but in reality, it's an open door that brings us together, that where we can come together and we can celebrate our differences while at the same time we can embrace our similarities. So one of the things that I have been doing is that I've actually been able to get over 30 organizations in one room, from religious organizations to status organizations to sex orientation, and we have been able to talk about what does it mean to be an Aggie. We are working on a campaign on what it means to define an Aggie. What does an Aggie look like? Does it mean someone who's straight? Does it mean someone who's a certain political view? So I think that one of the things that I would love to continue is to keep working with this organization, because at the end of the day, we are the Aggies are we.
John, the student body president is the chief executive of the Student Government Association. What does this role mean to you?
Well, I think it's important to realize that, yes, the student body president is the CEO of the Student Government Association, but we're not the president of the university. We are the student president of the university. And it's important to maintain that friend relationship with the people that you get to lead. And I also like to point out that SGA is more than just Senate and exec. There are 15 committees in SGA. And I've had experience on 4 of those committees and have absolutely loved it. And it's because of those committees that I've had the ability to grow in my time at Texas A&M. I would also like to be an ambassador and a champion for those committees and for Senate, for exec, to stand up for them in every circumstance. And to make sure that all students realize that just because you haven't been involved in SGA doesn't mean that you haven't felt the impact of SGA.
You know, being chief executive of Student Government Association is serving as a resource to the committees and the commissions to ensure that they succeed and that they are truly serving students like they're set out to do. I believe having effective communication, both internally within SGA and externally with the student body, is critical for the success of any organization, especially the Student Government Association. It'll be my role as student body president, if elected, that students feel like they can come talk to me and be accessible, so I can help them get plugged into organizations, committees in SGA or commissions that if they want to give back to students, or to actually put them on university committees. With next year being a legislative year, it's going to be really important that we are prepared to be on the offensive with the Texas legislature, so that whenever they do convene, we have some hard evidence that we can bring to them to make sure that higher education and the importance of students is in the forefront of their minds, and so that they know the importance of education.
Selfless service is the main, in my opinion, the main value that we Aggies try to fulfill. I believe it was Teddy Roosevelt, excuse me for butchering this quote, said something along the lines of that a true CEO, a true executive, has the ability to delegate properly to get people to move toward a common goal while not getting in their way in order for them to do it. I have a passion for helping people succeed. I think that my best attribute is as an encourager. And that's the role that I would fulfill in SGA. Sure, I've got great ideas. Sure, these guys have great ideas. You all do as well. But if we need someone to facilitate those great ideas, we need someone to encourage and to be the cheerleader for SGA, the yell leader. But we need a facilitator. That's the main thing. Someone who is able to properly delegate and allow them to do it.
To be the CEO of student government, it's to me it's just like running a philanthropy. You don't start out with very much except for yourself, but you have to build a good team around you in order to work for a good cause. It's just like a labor of love. The one thing we're building towards is having a better Aggie future. For one, having a strong voice is what a student body president facilitates, because we have to take the needs, wants, and desires from a chorus of thousands and condense it into one. For my own part, I would like to have a team around me that wants to be just as passionate about solving problems, is willing to break their backs and bleed just like I am, and want to make sure that tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that, we have a full docket of things to do. And by the time that I take office to the time I leave it, there will be no hair on my head, but there will be all the problems in the world solved for Aggies.
SGA is composed of 3 branches, 4 committees, and 15 commissions. So I think that for me, this role, what it means responsibility, it means commitment, and it means leadership. And the way that I define leadership, it means to serve. And I think that everybody who's up here, we want to serve. We want to be able to serve our communities. We want to be able to serve every Aggie who is in this room, who's in their dorms, and who's everywhere on campus, and those that are not on campus. So I think that what it means to me is to be able to be able to be there, to be able to, just like Thomas said, to be able to facilitate, to be able to be those ears that listen, to be able to be those words that encourage them. But for me, it means to serve. For me, it means to be able to be committed, to be there, whether it means to be at 3 a.m. and to be able to talk about an issue that is very important, or it means to just chat about things that are very important to campus. So for me, it means to serve, which actually means leadership.
I think we're blessed at Texas A&M to have hands down the best student government in the country. We have unpaid student leaders. When you look across the country and you see paid student leaders, we have the best programs in the country that are replicated at every university, from the big event to carpool to all kinds of different programs. We see that every year. The Conference on Student Government Associations, the different student governments come to Texas A&M and they ask, "Wow, how do y'all do this? Y'all are serving all students." So how do y'all get this? And it can't be replicated anywhere else but Aggieland. So with that in mind, as student body president, we have to ensure that we don't get complacent with student government, and we have to realize that Texas A&M is so much more than student government. I think the most important part of being student body president is understanding that Texas A&M isn't just student government. It's just not one group of people. It's an entire community, and so we have to do all that we can to reach out and to serve Aggies. Lastly, we can't get caught up in internal business of student government. We always have to ensure that we're looking outward and looking to serve the university.